What's good, fam? Kendrick Lamar is moving like the ultimate final boss, while Drake remains stuck trying to repair the damage from a feud that finished months ago. On February 19th of 2026, Kendrick officially cleared 1 billion total Spotify streams for the year. We are barely 50 days into the calendar, and he already hit the mark. This massive total shows that the energy behind Not Like Us was never just a summer phase, because the listeners are still dissecting every bar he puts out. The West Coast King stands as only the third rapper to touch that billion stream mark in 2026, which cements his spot in that top tier of global legends. The boy from Canada might have racked up 2 billion streams in that same window, but he is still losing a culture war. While the Toronto rapper hunts for stats to prove he still matters, Kendrick lets the numbers pile up as a result of the absolute wreckage he orchestrated last year. Fans have clearly settled on a winning side. They are leaning into the West Coast substance instead of the factory hits coming from the OVO camp. Every time Drake attempts a pivot or a teaser, it plays out like he is failing to outrun the massive shadow Kendrick threw over his entire career. Pulitzer Prize winner Kendrick Lamar dominates the entire conversation without even opening an app, because his catalog handles the work while the competition does backflips to stay relevant. Reaching a billion streams this fast confirms that Kendrick seized the throne. The victory lap is only getting started because Baby Keem unleashed his second studio album, K.Dot, on February 20th, and it is already causing massive problems for the competition. Everyone is losing their minds over the standout record. Good Flirts, because it brings Kendrick Lamar back to the feature circuit alongside Momo Boyd for a legendary moment. You can hear that this isn't some corporate handshake or a lazy business move, and that is because the connection between Kendrick and Keem goes way deeper than money. Kendrick really ramped up the anticipation for this drop by appearing in the third episode of the Booman documentary series on February 19th to support Keem's creative direction. We got some rare insight during that episode when Kendrick admitted that Keem's skill on the microphone actually caught him off guard when they first started linking up. While the production talent was obvious from the jump, Kendrick did not realize his cousin was packing that kind of lyrical heat until they finally locked in for a session. This type of real mentorship and family ties is why the pgLang camp is a serious threat compared to those shallow verses coming out of the OVO circle. Every time Drake jumps on a track with a new artist, he is just trying to drain their energy or colonize a fresh sound for his own gain. This Kendrick and Keem link up is a real passing of the torch, showing how family loyalty actually works in this business. This new drop proves that Kendrick does not have to be the main character to run the culture, and he can play the mentor while making everyone else look like amateurs. The beats on Good Flirts are incredible, and hearing Kendrick have this much fun on a track is a total nightmare for anyone still salty about last year. While that other camp is distracted by filing legal appeals and crying to judges, the pgLang family is focused on the music and keeping the West Coast on top. You can see the genuine pride Kendrick has for what Keem accomplished with this album, and his documentary appearance shows a level of maturity that Toronto simply lacks. This record reminds us that Kendrick is playing the long game while Drake is stuck in a legal freezer, desperately trying to save a career that got iced. The whole industry is getting a lesson in how to build a lasting legacy without relying on cheap gimmicks or begging for attention on social media every 5 minutes. Every single bar Kendrick puts out right now is another nail in the coffin for that weak OVO narrative about him being finished after the battle was over. Instead of disappearing like people hoped, Kendrick is solidifying his spot as the most important figure in the game while lifting up the next generation of his family. Keem is clearly flourishing in this environment, and his K.Dot album is the ultimate proof that the pgLang system is making the most exciting music on the planet right now. Having Kendrick on a track like Good Flirts is the biggest cosign possible, and it proves that he is still the standard that every other rapper has to live up to. The chemistry between these two shows the power of real family bonds over those fake industry handshakes and forced friendships that only exist to manipulate the Billboard charts. Kendrick's run is about more than just streaming statistics, and it really comes down to the undeniable respect he commands every single time he steps inside a recording booth. Drake can hold on to his billions and his streaming trophies because he will never be able to buy the kind of cultural impact that Kendrick creates with one guest verse. This link up with Keem is just the starting point for what looks like another legendary year for the king of the West Coast. Drake is trying way too hard to sell this new cold-blooded assassin aesthetic, but the only thing actually stuck in a deep freeze is his momentum in the legal system. On February 17th of 2026, he posted a clip of himself tramping through the snow to promote his 9th studio solo album called Iceman, and the caption just said that it was freezing. While he spends his time playing dress up for the cameras, his high-priced lawyers are grinding away to revive a legal battle that the rest of the world has already moved past. This whole mess goes back to an appeal Drake filed in late January of 2026, which was a desperate move to reverse the dismissal of his defamation lawsuit against UMG from October of 2025. That original case got tossed because the judge saw right through the nonsense, realizing Drake was essentially suing his own business partners for doing their jobs and promoting Kendrick's diss tracks. His legal team continues to push this weak narrative that Kendrick Lamar used "Not Like Us" to make false accusations, and they want UMG held accountable for letting those lyrics hit the airwaves. This is a massive reach that proves just how deeply Kendrick's bars damage his pride and his global brand. It is wild to watch a man who claims to be the king of the industry acting like a victim in the legal freezer, marking one of the most embarrassing falls from grace in hip-hop history. Instead of letting the music speak, Drake is choosing to stay trapped in this cycle of litigation because he cannot accept that the public has already handed down a guilty verdict. That Iceman title feels more like he is projecting the fact that his career has been on ice ever since the West Coast snatched the crown. He wants the fans to believe he is unbothered, but you do not file multiple appeals over a rap beef unless those lyrics are keeping you up at night. This whole legal strategy is just a distraction from the music, making every new teaser look like a calculated attempt to change the subject away from his losses. The level of desperation is hitting new heights now that we have NBA superstars like Kevin Durant getting caught up in burner account drama just to protect Drake's feelings during All-Star Weekend. Between February 15th and 16th, the internet was on fire with leaked screenshots that allegedly showed KD using a fake profile to troll Kendrick fans in their private messages. Those messages were completely unhinged, featuring KD asking fans if their daddy Dot had reached out lately, which is a level of pettiness that is honestly hard to even process. It looks like everyone in Drake's circle has developed a massive chip on their shoulder because they know the world is not buying the OVO hype anymore. KD was caught making fun of fans for focusing on Kendrick's jewelry while he bragged about Drake having billions of dollars sitting in the bank. Relying on a bank account as a defense is the ultimate sign of a losing argument in this culture, mainly because money cannot buy the street credit or the lyrical genius Kendrick possesses. Seeing a legend like Kevin Durant feel the need to go undercover to attack Kendrick fans shows exactly how deep the insecurity runs in that entire camp. This reflects a toxic energy where celebrity friends feel like they have to act as digital soldiers for Drake because he can no longer hold his own in the recording booth. These secret accounts are a dead giveaway that the OVO defense squad is terrified of the public, so they hide behind fake names to vent their frustrations. The entire situation has turned into a circus where the music takes a backseat to the constant need for validation and status. Kendrick fans have no reason to hide their identities because the quality of the art is their shield, while the Drake camp is forced to use wealth as their only weapon. Watching KD get dragged into this mess is just more proof that Drake's influence is becoming a heavy burden for everyone around him. They are all stuck in this defensive crouch because they cannot handle the fact that the culture has moved on to a more authentic sound. Instead of celebrating basketball during All-Star Weekend, KD was out here acting like a corporate shill for a rapper who is still reeling from a historic knockout. This burner account disaster is the perfect metaphor for Drake's legacy right now, especially since everything about it feels manufactured and hidden behind fake personas. Kendrick is moving in the light with his family and his community, while the Toronto side has to resort to secret DMs and lawyers just to stay in the conversation in 2026. Supporters of the Toronto side are starting to feel the heat because DJ Academics spent a good portion of his February 18th stream admitting that Kendrick has major things up his sleeve for the rest of 2026. When you have a voice like Academics acknowledging that Kendrick is preparing a massive counter move, it reveals exactly who is actually in control of the timeline right now. This speculation points toward a potential solo project or a major cultural event that would likely overshadow anything Drake tries to do with his Iceman rollout this year. Kendrick is a master of staying silent until it is time to deliver a surgical strike, and that silence is currently making the entire industry nervous about what is coming next. Drake is trying to win the battle by flooding the market with volume, but Kendrick is winning the war by focusing on the absolute quality of his output. While one artist is out here teasing snow videos and walking around in puffer jackets, the other is quietly building a legacy that is backed by the most awards in the history of rap. Kendrick Lamar did not become a Pulitzer Prize winner by accident, and he certainly did not become the most decorated artist of his generation by chasing trends on social media platforms. The collaboration with Baby Keem on the K.Dot Eno album is essentially the victory lap for a man who has already conquered the highest peaks of the industry. It shows that he is comfortable enough in his position to help elevate the next generation, while Drake is still fighting for scraps of relevance on burner accounts. The cultural narrative has shifted so far in Kendrick's direction that every move Drake makes just feels like he is reacting to a ghost that he cannot catch. Kendrick is proving that you do not need to be the loudest person in the room to be the most powerful person in the room. The strategy of dropping limited but high-impact content is clearly working because his streaming numbers are still rivaling artists who release music every other week. We are watching a demonstration of brand longevity that is rooted in the actual culture of the streets and the art of lyricism. Drake can release 10 more albums titled after cold weather, but he will never be able to replicate the organic respect that Kendrick receives from his peers and the fans. The final verdict for this week is very simple, because Kendrick is moving with the confidence of a king, while Drake is moving with the desperation of someone who knows his time at the top is running out. This Baby Keem feature is just a small sample of the heat Kendrick is bringing to the table, and if the rumors are true, the rest of 2026 is going to belong to Compton. The West Coast is currently sitting on a throne that was built through hard work and undeniable talent, and no amount of legal appeals or celebrity burner accounts will be able to change that reality. Kendrick has already won the battle of the year, and now he is focused on winning the entire decade while the competition is stuck in the past. Drake needs to realize that the industry has changed and the fans are no longer distracted by the jewelry or the fake personas he tries to sell. We are in a new era where the bars actually matter, and Kendrick Lamar is the one holding the pen that writes the history books for this generation of hip-hop. This is exactly what happens when you try to fight someone who actually cares about the craft more than the fame. Kendrick's dominance is official, and the rest of the year is going to be a long and painful lesson for anyone who thought they could take the crown from the greatest to ever do it. The music speaks for itself, and the streets have already made their decision on who represents the real spirit of the culture. Kendrick is the standard for excellence, and he is just getting started with his victory lap.